In today's FX markets, let's take a look at the Australian dollar as it's realizing a second day of strength. We're seeing it up nicely for a second session today. And when you look at the price action, after 5 days of selling pressure, we are seeing the Australian dollar recouping 3 of those 5 days as we retake the 72 handle. Spot 7252 is the current price level for the Australian dollar futures market. And I think when you look at some of the reasons why we're seeing this renewed strength, a couple things to point to. The COVID-19 storyline, I think, is one of the driving factors. Certainly the FDA approval of the Johnson & Johnson's vaccine, I think, is having an impact across the globe as a positive sentiment, if nothing else. And also, I think, playing into the idea that, this will continue to hopefully trend in a positive direction, particularly when you look at the cases in China. As I mentioned this yesterday and once again today, that they are seeing basically are not reporting any cases here the last couple of days. And so we're seeing the Chinese markets, having a strong session here in the last 24 hours as their equity markets have shown substantial bounce here. And I think that that's feeding into the rest of that region over there as we're seeing the Australian dollar having a nice day and the New Zealand dollar also exhibiting strength today. Also, I think you can point to the dollar in general. We are seeing the U.S. dollar under 93. You're looking at the other major currency markets. Really, you're looking at the euro and the British pound not doing too much today. The Japanese yen pretty quiet. Really, it's the focus today is when you look at some of the major currencies. The Canadian dollar having a nice strong day today. I think couple that with the oil markets moving higher, and the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. So that's where your strength is today, and putting a little bit more downside pressure on the dollar index, the U.S. dollar index, that is. And when you look at just some of the general trends, I want to point out the Australian dollar now is coming off of 9-month lows. You have to go back to November to see the Australian dollar trading at the levels it was prior to this 2-day rally. So it certainly is at the lower end of the range here for the year, even though with this recent bounce for the last 2 days. And also I want to point out that when you look at the New Zealand dollar, I mentioned that it's showing a nice strength today. It's actually up more so from a percentage standpoint than the Australian dollar. So you are seeing both those currencies having a strong performance for a second day in a row.